Taking a moment here for get the recording button going. So once again, we're going to cover parcel data on the desktop, the web, and the mobile. And so we're going to get started, and what we're going to do is go ahead and find a map. Right now, I've got New England here, and I'm going to go and we're going to find a city or town. There's many different ways that you can find maps in Terrain Navigator Pro under the Find feature, but today we're going to find the town of Suncook, New Hampshire. And we're going to replace the active map here. What I'm going to do is create a new project. So I'm going to go to the Layers menu. I'm going to go to Manage Projects. I'm going to create a new project. And what we're going to do is synchronize this with a mobile app so I can show you the synchronization of the parcels. And we're just going to click yes to that. I'm going to share it out to my own self. All this was covered. We did previously did some training on Terrain Navigator Pro projects. And if you're interested, you can learn more at our YouTube channel. Just type in Terrain Navigator Pro, and there's a number of training videos there. So projects will cover in that. Let's see, there's a little bit of feedback here. Is everyone muted? Thanks. So we're going to call this Parcel Data Web Training. That's going to be the name of our project. Go ahead and finish that. And let's see. Getting some feedback. I'm not sure if everyone is muted here. It looks like we've got a couple of folks that have joined us by phone. Could you please mute yourselves? All right. So we've got our Parcel Data Web Training. That's the name of our project. I'm going to go ahead and close this. And you'll see that the center of the map is in Suncook, New Hampshire. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in here. And that circle is just denoting the center of the map on the screen. So we're just going to click out of that. And one of the things that we're going to talk about, first of all, is how to turn on parcels. There's two ways to turn on parcels in Terrain Navigator Pro. One of them is that you can go to the File menu. You can go to the layer size visibility. It's under File. Then we go to Preferences. Give me a second here. And then we go to layer size visibility. And this will bring up the different layers in Terrain Navigator Pro that you can turn on or off. And you see parcels is not checked. So I can click on parcels here. I can close this. And you'll see the land parcels. Alternatively, another way to turn on or off the parcel data layer would be, there's a shortcut on the toolbar, and it's a shortcut to layer size visibility. You'll see that under the Help menu. If I click on this little shortcut, I can also find parcels, and I can turn that off. So that's a handy way to turn on and off the parcels. So let's go ahead, and what we're going to do is turn parcels back on. And I'm going to close out of that. Now, we can talk about some preferences with the parcel data layer. And so we can change the color of the lines. We can change, what's being displayed. So basically, under the File menu, what we do is we go to Preferences, and then we go to, we are going to go to layer size visibility. Nope. Sorry, File, Preferences, and then we go to Parcels. And you'll see here, there's a couple of different things that we can do. For the label, for example, we can display it by the owner, which is what's being displayed right now, or we can display by APN. and you'll see those change there. So that APN is the assessor parcel number or the tax ID number. And then you can also display them by address. So whatever your preferences are, you can change that. So we'll just put it back to owner for now. There's different options for style, you know, for the text. You'll see for the names. Right now I have it in red, and the background color is red, and we have the text itself in yellow. But as you can see here, any you know, you can change this to whatever you'd like. We'll keep it red for now, and so that can be changed. You can change the font, pick anything that you would like at any size. And the line style is how thick the line is going to be and what the color is. So sometimes people want it a little bit more thicker or thinner. You can highlight it, you know, the outside to your heart's content. You can change a lot of preferences. Also, you can change the icon, small, medium, or large. We'll leave it at medium for now. So those are ways that you can change the file preferences. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is, let's say there's a land parcel and you want to see that on the mobile device or on TNP Mobile in this project that you've created. So there's an easy way to go ahead and create a track from a land parcel. So we're just going to grab one of these parcels here, this one here, and I'm going to right click. Now let me just show you some information here. If I right click on the perimeter of a parcel, I will get information about that parcel. So I will get information like how many acres or square meters it is, what the perimeter is in feet or kilometers. It will give me the tax ID number, who the owner is, and what the address is. And I can print that information if I wanted to. So again, that's a way to get the information on the parcels. And now we're going to go ahead and take one of these tracks, and we're going to make a track out of it. So if I right click on the edge of a parcel and I go to create, now I can create different things. I can create a track. And that's what we're going to do so that we can display this on the mobile device. A route, which is going to include all the waypoints that are surrounding it. We can create a marker. We can create a polygon. Polygons do not show up on the TNP mobile app, so we're going to stick with a track. And let's go ahead and give this track a name. Let's call it track 1, for example. And we're going to click close, and you'll see I have my tracks outlined in black. If I turn off the parcel data layer, so if I go to parcel data, to the shortcut, and what we'll do is go to parcels, turn that off, you'll see that my track has been isolated. And when we go to the mobile app and talk about land ownership on the mobile app, we'll find that track here. I'm going to go ahead and turn back parcels. And then there's a couple of other neat features that we can do on the desktop. For example, one of them is we can create a polygon from a parcel. So if I go to create and I go to polygon, what I can do is give this a name. We'll call this polygon 1. And I can right click on that, and I can go to polygon again, and I can edit this polygon. And what that allows me to do is a number of things. I can change the name. For example, I can change the fill if I wanted to. And I can also, on the edge line, let's say I wanted to know what the grade was for that polygon. You'll see the grade. If I wanted bearing, I can display the bearing. I can also show the range. And we can also include, if we wanted to, range and bearing. So what's nice about this information is that I'm going to close this and I'm going to turn off the layer. What you'll see is that information stays. So if I turn off parcels, I guess I must have missed it last time. There it is. So there's the information, the drawing that, excuse me, the range and bearing that we had included there. So that's kind of handy to have. Let me go ahead and turn parcels back on. This might be a good time to stop and see if anyone has any questions. So you can go ahead if you have any questions and unmute yourself and ask any questions. Alternatively, if you have questions, you can use the chat, which is in the upper right-hand corner. You can type in questions there as well. So it doesn't look like I have any questions, so I'm going to continue. So we're turning parcels back on. And a couple of things that is good to know about Terrain Navigator Pro. I can go to the Find menu, and I can go to Parcels. And let's say I knew an address or an APN or an owner number, or owner name. I can search Parcels if I know that information, and TNP will bring up a list of that. So that's kind of handy to know. Another thing that we can do is, let's say we're working offline for some reason and we need access to the parcel data on the desktop, so you don't have internet access so that TNP can connect to the TNP cloud. You can download the parcel data to your desktop, and then it will always be available to you whether or not you have internet access. And one of the things that you would do that is you would go to File, and you would go to Manage Parcels Downloads. And here, it's going to give you whatever states that you have, whatever counties that you have. And what you can do is, do a whole state's worth of parcel downloading, or you could choose a county and have that download as well. So that pretty much covers the parcel data on the desktop. One of the things that I'd like to do, again, we'll take an opportunity here for questions. Since there are no questions, what we'll do is go ahead and talk about the web portal, and then we'll talk about the TMP Mobile App. So I'm going to go to the TMP Web Portal at terrainnavigator.com. And what I'll do is make sure I log in. So here's my login screen. And what I'm going to do is log into my web portal. And we're going to go to Projects. And one of the things that you'll see here is our, let me get to the next page here, and you'll see Parcel Data Web Training. So I'm going to go ahead and activate that parcel project. And so you'll see the track that we did create on the web portal. Now, in last month's training webinar, we covered projects on the web portal. So if you haven't seen that, or you have questions about that, I would recommend that you visit the YouTube channel for Terrain Navigator Pro and check that video out. So right now, we're just going to go to activate our project. And what you'll see is, let me go ahead and let's use a terrain map. Whoops. And one of the things that we can do here is under land ownership is where we will download on the server on the our project here, the land ownership information. So we're in the state of New Hampshire. So we'll click on New Hampshire, and we're in Merrimack County, and you'll see Merrimack County is outlined. So that's the coverage that we have for the land ownership information. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in, and you'll see this is where our track is here. I'll zoom in again. I'll turn off the coverage for now, and we'll turn land ownership, and it will tell us to zoom in to see the private land ownership. And what you'll see are the land parcels on the web portal. So there you have it. That is how to access the parcel data information on the web portal. Are there any questions? So the last part of our training this morning is going to cover the TNP Mobile App and the web how to access our information on the web portal. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up my screen for my Tmp Mobile. And you'll see I have Terrain Navigator Pro here. We'll click on Terrain Navigator Pro. And what I'm going to do is going to go to All Projects. And you'll see the first one in the list is our Parcel Data Web Training. I'm going to click on that. You'll see that we have a track here, and what we're going to do is activate the project. Now, what you'll see here is that the land ownership is available on the mobile app. And just let me show you how to turn that on and off. So you would go to the Layers button on the bottom. And what you'll see is if I scroll, there's land ownership markers here. I can click that off, and that would turn off that layer. And you see here, here's the track that we created on Terrain Navigator Pro, the desktop project. So let's go back to Layers. I will turn back on land ownership markers. And although you do not see the individual perimeters for the land ownership, what you'll see are these orange dots. And one of the things that you can do is click on the orange dot, and that will bring up your tax ID, your owner, the address, the area. So this would be very handy out in the field. Let's say you are out in the field and you're not sure, who owns what territory, or whose land you might be on. The parcel data would be one way to access that. So we're good to go with that. And that basically, finishes our Terrain Navigator Pro training on the TNP Web Portal. So I'd like to take any questions that anybody might have.
Could you possibly explain the tools at the very top?
On the mobile app here?
Yes.
Sure. So are you talking about like how to access projects and things like that?
No, at the very top, you've got the ruler.
Okay.
And the arrow. I'm driving down and looking and see who owns this land on a certain highway, and I access this and pop it up. It's kind of handy in that it takes a little while to locate me, but once it does, then all these little parcels will pop up. What's the one in the middle and the next one?
So
what are those?
So the one on the left is the compass. And if you click that on, that's to navigate to that site. And then you've got, as you mentioned, the ruler was the other one. Give me 1 second here. Ed, quick question for you. I'm sorry, this middle tool here on the mobile app.
That's zoomed to project. So if you've got a number of layers across a large area, it will show you all those layers at once at that zoom level.
So if I've already polygoned a parcel, a tract, and then I'm out in the field, I can access it with that?
Once you have the project open, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And then, as you mentioned, the third one is the ruler, and it will give you the distance and so forth. Excellent.
Distance. If I'm in the field, how do you use that? I guess I have to just go play with it.
So what you would do is you would just click on the ruler. Let's say you wanted to get a distance here. You would click on that. Let me turn off the parcel layer for a second here. So let's turn that off. All right, and let's go ahead and grab our ruler. And what it should do here is, 1 second, there it is. So you'll see these two endpoints. And what you do is adjust, let's say we wanted, to know the distance between these two endpoints right here on this dash line on the topo. Then it will give you the distance.
Okay, let me go back to the map. Okay, I can just move it from one intersection to this, how many miles to this track. Okay, that'll work. What's the jump on the bottom left?
Jump is going to bring you to the project. So if you do jump, it's like a shortcut to the 3 lines on the top. You can go to map. You can jump to information, which would be location, speed, heading, compass. So it's go to is that's going to navigate to that location. So if I click on go to, I could say, okay, I want to go to that track from where my current position is.
You can just add an address?
Add an address. Well, this would be going to this particular track. Ed, can you put in an address to go to on the mobile app?
No, it's for navigating to a predefined spot that you've already marked as a marker.
On my desktop.
Or
on this. Okay.
So that would be, as you start going to that location, I said go to the beginning of that track. Then it's the GPS that comes up and it will give you the information.
Okay.
Stop that. And so forth. If you want to go to the active project, what's nice about this is you can go to track and then you can say, okay, if you were, somewhere else on the map on the mobile device, you could say, hey, find that, and then it will bring it up.
How do I've already polygoned some tracks on the desktop. How do I put that on my mobile? So when I'm out in the field, that'll pop up like you did a while ago. I like that.
So that's done on the desktop when you create a project. You sync it to a mobile project. I would recommend that you take a look on our YouTube channel. We did cover setting up projects and syncing projects. That was our last one, our November training. You might want to take a look at that. But basically, the thing with that is under the layers menu, you have to do it on the desktop. Create your project. Okay, so do a new project and then go through the steps to, make sure you select that you want it to synchronize with a mobile project and so forth.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Other questions? All right. Well, if we have no other questions, that will conclude today's TNP training on the parcel data. If you don't already have the parcel data, it is an additional $120 per year. Breaks down to about $10 a month. So not too bad for a couple of cups of coffee for a useful tool. If I can be of assistance, my name is Michelle. For those that are RSVP, you have my contact information. I've sent you that. I'll also follow up with making sure that once this video is uploaded, that I send you the link to that. So thank you for joining us. Happy holidays to everybody, and we'll look forward to seeing you for next month's training in January. Have a great day.